Hi there, welcome back to the Student StarCraft AI tournament. I am in a bit of a rush because, as it is a beautiful Sunday over here, with no longer the 38 or even 30 degrees, which for Holland is abominable, I sort of forgot that I had to do the broadcast, but, well, without further ado, and I won't bother you with that, there is still plenty of time to talk about all the interesting stuff, and I've even been sent a couple of Crazio versus Nathan replays by the latter. Of course, Crazio bot should not be sending me replays. If it were, this AI thing would have been a bit too much, I think. So we got an observer, we got bots playing AIs, but none of them have got my email address and are capable of sending me replays themselves. And all your coders out there, please don't take this up as a challenge. So one of the games that got recommended this week was Banana Brain versus Proxy, and well, Proxy has been working hard, is not proxying, just over here with the scouting drone and the Overlord, and still the goose chase is going on, so that sort of, well, it's a cozy feeling, because that means that these bots are not yet quite ready for world domination. And you can see the first zealot being engaged, the first goon as well. The goon is microing hard and is fighting good enough, and now the zealots kill the drone and come after the remaining zerglings, so that's all good and fun. Now with 2 sunkens and a handful of drones, drone count pretty nice for Proxy. Proxy is in an okay position, and here comes what appears to be some kind of Templar tech. And there we go. So 1, 2 gates, handful of units, and backing it up with a couple of Dark Templars. Where are they coming to come from? Proxy taking the 3rd base, has got an Overlord overhead, has got 1 in reserve, and has got a very small army. So Protoss looking to do some damage, going straight for the kill, not bothering too much. And the Zerglings are sort of stupid. But once the first Sunken is dead, they come after their Zealots. And the 1 Zealot remaining is going to get pinned down and killed. And now where are the Dark Templars? The Dark Templars aren't there yet. That's interesting. So a sort of a desperate attempt by a handful of gateway units without Dark Templars, and let's hope it works. Now Banana Brain's not in a too bad of a position, but going to lose some workers now. Oh no, a couple of zealots come and save the day. Problem is, Proxy is on 3 bases, and well, with the 2 base economy and a lot of tech, you could say that both players at this moment are quite evenly matched. The sunken defense has been shored up on the end of Proxy, and Proxy is going to incur some losses by this Corsair, but there is a Hydra, only 1, oh 2 now, which are, oh dear, that's quite silly to lose a Corsair like that. Corsair micro is not easy, it appears, and this Corsair doesn't really know which way to go and is going to take a lot of damage because of that. Meanwhile, a handful of Zerglings with the Zealots fighting out here in front, and the mineral only is about to be taken on both sides. And again, Proxy is a little bit in the lead, so Proxy doing quite well, keeping up with the worker count, and the army count isn't quite there yet, and Storm is done already, so Proxy really ought to get this show on the road, because otherwise it's going to have to contend with a 3-base operation with high Templars, and with the army size as it is, not even the Zealots are afraid anymore, and that is even without +1, so that's going to be a little bit of a problem. The Hydras are doing okay in fending off the Corsairs. Hatchery coming, upgrades left, right and center. A couple of Sunkens and another base. Yep, there you go. But Banana Brain has been updated recently, is going to go for the same strategy. Much more eco, worker-wise, players dead even. Slight lead for Banana Brain, but it's not too big of a problem. And now here come the Hybris, and the Hybris versus the Zealots are okay, but I'd be poking a little bit later with a little bit more Hybris, but you can see the right side of the map lighting up or browning up. Darkening up, I must say, because browning up doesn't really sound like it's a fun activity. But then the army influx is coming to come, and Proxy now on almost 90 workers Banana Brain's got this base operational, and that's good, because this is going to spin right out of control. Proxy is everywhere, and the waiting is really for the more advanced units that Proxy is going to make, because it used to be all about Zerglings and Hybris, and right now we've got a Reaver as well as some High Templars. Army size for Banana Brain is really small, no meat, no Zealots, no Goons, and no... oh, well, there's a Storm, and that settles that. One Storm and the entire Zerg army crumbles, with a couple of Reaver Blasts, 2 Reavers now, 2 Zealots, and yes, of course, a couple of drones are going to get killed, but all in all, a lot of damage being done by Protoss. Does not really matter though, because Zerg has got the humongousest economy you can ever wish for. Oh, and this drone is taking on the Nexus all by itself, and I don't know that these probes are going to do anything about that. But now Protoss on the march with a handful of Reavers, and although the Reavers are rather slow, I think one of them is going to get it. The Hydras, look at that Hydra count. You really ought to micro your forces a little bit better, because that's 25 Hydras easily, and they are going to kill stuff so quickly. Here comes another Reaver, perhaps one good shot. Mwah! Yeah, that's the good one, but then again, it will be all up to the Templars. And the Templars, the micro isn't too good, because they all get killed without landing Storm, and Proxy now has firm possession of this end of the map. There are only 30 works left for Banana Brain, and Banana Brain is suffering a little bit because of that. This base is sort of mining, this base is also sort of mining, but there are a couple of Hydras in the way, and the main Hydra body is taking apart the defenses of the mineral only. And you can see, well, Proxy's taking it rather slow, and that's because of this one Corsair. There are at least 40 Hydras pent up with that. And, oh, an Ultra Cannon, so that's good. So now full army production, and of course this one Corsair might be done away with a couple of Scourge, but unfortunately that's not in the program, and this one Templar is doing its best to clear the entire base, but little does he know that all the other bases are overrun. Oh dear, this one's still good, sort of. And, well, Banana Brain could stage sort of a comeback, but I don't really see it happening, not with Ultras coming, and the upgrades are all of the window. So here we go, here goes the main base. You can see those Zerglings rampaging. They've got, of course, the speed upgrade, and they've also got the Adrenal Glands upgrade. They do so much damage, it's unreal how fast they take down these Protoss bases. The Ultras are buffering the damage. It's nigh impossible to kill one Ultra, let alone 4 with cannons. And, oh, the Lings have been targeted. That's, I think, is a clever decision, but more Lings are going to be sent in, and the DPS in the main base is going to spin right out of control. Island base is not yet taken, and Banana Brain, what are you going to do? Because this base is going to be down, the main is going to be in tatters, or is in tatters, and will be completely erased from the map. And then it's up to this base over here. Banana Brain hasn't got the money, Proxy is maxed, and wow, that's really something. That's a lot of drones. That's 95 drones. I think that's a little bit more than ideally you'd like to make, even if you've got the entire map, and even if you're going to take this base where there's nothing left but dead Protoss buildings and a depleted geyser. But that shows you the meticulousness of Proxy. It's just going to take every base. And now this army, and this army isn't really all that big, it's just 4 Ultras. And all the Hydras are still over here, pent up. All the Hydras are over there. But the Lings and the Ultras must be enough. And that is a good victory for Proxy. So, next game up, we have got Locutus versus Crazio. And, well, what can we say? It was a recommendation, so I will cast it. But, and I must show you that now, because otherwise the broadcast will be all about nothing. Upgrade-wise, Egbert has received one, Pineapple Cactus and Toothpick, Brian Weber, Banana Brain, Proxy, Locutus, McRave, and Crazio, not really. So Crazio is a little bit, well, dead in the water and getting abused a lot by Locutus. The ELO sort of reflects that. Locutus has topped the 2,500 mark, and that is more than 160 above Crazio, the number 2, and more than 200 above Ironbot. Ironbot still clinging strong at number 3, Purple Wave doing well, Killerbot doing extremely well, especially considering it's more than 1.5 years ago, and TSM Random Proxy knocking at the door, Banana Brain still in there, Microwave, TSM Protoss, Chris Coates, and it's all about doing damage, but this Locutus action is really something completely different. Let's see how it will fare this game versus Crazio. Now here comes the probe and is going to proxy a long way off from Crazio's base, and that's I think is a little bit far, but you never know. The gateways are nearly done and still the base has to be found. So on La Mancha it's a large map and it will of course need a little bit of time, and oh dear, the probe is going the wrong way and the zealots are going the wrong way as well. And this scouting SCV, I don't know if Crazio's got code that makes it suspect something is up, but I think that the bunker is up and there is at least one Marine, and now with an SCV for repair, 2 SCVs, 2 Marines. Oh, and they run straight by again. That's not good. The SCVs are fighting hard, but it's going to be pretty tough to outfox these Zealots. The Zealots are doing so much damage. Luckily for Crazio, they're also taking swipes at the command center, but there are so many. Oh, and they're going for the command center. If they kill that, it's going to be over. The SCVs come in for another round. The Vulture is doing its utmost, and the Vulture with the SCVs might just hold it because the Vulture is not targeted. It's all about the command center, and the command center just barely lives. And now this Vulture is going to, oh, with the bunker might just hold it. Crazio with the last minute repair. All the SCVs are in the red. The command center gets repaired up until, well, just in the yellow. And now Locutus, what are you going to do? Because you either need to break that bunker, you need to make another run by, or, and that is the problem, you are going to face a lot of tanks in a relatively short period of time, and the Vulture is going to be repaired. Another Vulture will be made. Are there spider mines? No, just speed, but that means that these Vultures will kill Zealots for breakfast. Crazio is so good at that. No secrets in Vulture Micro for Crazio, and the Vultures are going out to seek the enemy, and the enemy will, it will be right there for another run by, and that is not good at all. Here is the proxy, and Crazio just doesn't know what to do with the proxy. The bunker is holding strong, but oh, the earlier run by didn't make Crazio any wiser, and now the 4 Marines are having a lot of firepower on their hands. Locutus has a little bit of issues moving up the ramp. Lots of SCVs here for repair. I think that's the right decision. But these Vultures, they should be, oh, and they are now mining up the gateways. That is a good decision. Oh, and this one just, oh, there goes one goon. And I think that's a good decision. Locutus now going for the Nexus in the expansion, in the natural. That's good. 1 tank for Crazio. Is there siege mode? There is no siege mode yet. Crazio pretty low on SCVs, not even mining gas at the moment. And this tank ought to be pretty careful not to get blown up, because if this tank dies, Locutus will be in a glorious position. And here come the goons again, just pestering. I'm sure they've got range. No, they haven't got range yet. Oh, Locutus was pretty much all in with that 2 gate. Now trying to salvage it and doing okay, because Crazio hasn't really got a clear concept of what a proxy is and how you got to stop it, and you could just send in your 2 Vultures into the enemy main and kill everything there. But for the time being, oh, I just missed that fight, but the tank is doing so much damage with the bunker and the SCVs for repair. Crazio's SCV count is slowly getting a little bit better now with 2 turrets. Is there going to be a Templar follow-up? Doesn't look like it, but you never know. Not with the Locutus, you don't. And the Vultures are keeping tabs on the goons, but oh dear, and that's a good position for the tank. But Crazio, okay, there you go, another tank. And with 2 tanks and a bunker and some SCVs for repair, I don't see these goons get anything done in the near future. Crazio should keep those tanks siege though, because if he doesn't, they can collect quite a bit of floating balls from the goons. So Locutus now with the natural up, looks to be in a prime position, double the worker count, approximately double the army count, but Crazio will soon be exerting some influence on the map with these siege tanks. He's got 3, one's home at the SCV party, just trying to protect those, and now Crazio or to move down the ramp. And I think it's always better to just take the natural first, build the bunker over here, perhaps build a depot there, just make a tiny little wall, and that would prevent a lot of shenanigans that that Locutus is so very, very fond of. And here comes Locutus again, but now there are 3 tanks with a couple of vultures, and with the Hybris at low ground, and the ramp, and the choke, and this terrain over here. This gateway army is just not going to get in. Period. That's as easy as it is, and Locutus is staying on 2 bases for a long time, and I don't understand why that is, because he's got map control. You just keep Crazio in there, take 5 more bases, and it's pretty much GG, but the follow-up to this proxy is not as good as it could have been. Crazio, meanwhile, with the control tower at the starport, and more goons are coming to get some, but the thing they are getting is pretty much wrapped in large ball tank shells, and that's well, must not feel at all right to catch a couple of those, as demonstrated by the large number of dead goons and zealots. And Locutus is just throwing this, I feel, because Crazio is going to get stronger and stronger. I'm not losing too much. Bit forward with the tank. Locutus will kill the 1 tank now in among the other tanks. Kills kills another tank, but at what cost? And you can see that the main for Locutus is out, and Crazio still got a little bit of juice left because the SCV count was so depressed. And now Crazio is looking to take a command center and will move down the ramp to protect it. The question is, will Locutus with only 1 base income have enough? And I dare say that Crazio hasn't got any walling mechanics at all. Now is throwing up another bunker. That's good. 3 tanks, 4 defense, might do with a couple of mines. But Locutus is really throwing this game, I feel, because still no third. Still no third, and that is going to be all, I fear, because the bunker is up, there are 4 tanks, and with the natural up and running, Crazio will have a short period, even a base up on Locutus, and that will not be good at all for him. I don't know. And good luck, have fun making your way into there, because with these 4 tanks, Crazio is happy as a clam in a shell. Walling wise, Crazio's got a lot of work to do. But I think that when the walling is up, that... Ooh, Locutus, where are you? Oh, and Crazio taking a third as soon as the coast is clear. And I think that if Crazio gets this, the walling show going, that Locutus will have a much harder time exploiting it. And then I'd say that Crazio can rise to number 1 again, because in general play, pressure, run-bys and DT shenanigans aside, Crazio, I feel, is still the superior bot, because Locutus relies too much on zealots and goons, and, well, this build order has just got a fixed cap of 2 bases, and that's... I think that's going to cost him the game. So, there you go. You can see the tank count. You are never, ever, ever going to break that, no matter how many goons you're bringing to the party. And Crazio rolling up has, well, this base is dead. And Crazio taking such a long time to be aggressive, just content to sit back and let the goons die to the tanks. Highland got killed over here. And, well, the last mineral patch for Locutus, and that is going to be all, I fear. So, GG, Crazio takes 1 off Locutus, and that's pretty special these days. So, next game up, it's Locutus versus Iron. And we saw earlier how Locutus tried to proxy Crazio. The proxy locations could be a little bit better. And especially with Python, oh, the gas steel, that's pretty cute. What you could do is build 2 gateways over here, or because these bots, they just don't scout for it, and that's going to be painful. But the gas steel is as good as it gets, and let's see how Locutus is going to follow it up. Now, ooh, I am going with the SCV harass, and there ought to be a zealot pretty quickly, or this will do some damage. But on the other end, what the hell is this? It's some kind of a pylon over here. For reasons it gets cancelled. Gas steel has been thwarted, and the probe heading back to base. Still no army for Recute is now a goon, and that's just right in time because these SCVs with 5 of them, they get to be pretty nasty. And, well, this goon kills one, might kill another, but this SCV thing gets cut short pretty efficiently. Now Ironbot's got a good wall, so no run-bys over here. But at what cost? The cost is that it's going to be much slower with the factories or whatever it's going to do. And Acutus is not known for sitting back, and here comes the first goon not sitting back. 2 goons trying to get down the wall, and the SCVs just don't dare. And 2 goons with good micro, and oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, the machine shop's still building, so no combat units from that factory. Locutus is smacking it down hard. The factory's done now, but with 3 goons, mining completely denied, and more goons rolling up. Tech being built, but I think that even if this is a Templar Archives, it's not going to matter a bit, because the game's over. There's no more mining, no combat units, and we've got 4 goons in the main base, so that's the GG. And I will need to slap in another game. So I got a couple of... we'll keep that for last. So, based on... Oh, hello. What's this then? Okay, so this is... I thought I had a match of the Terran Egbert, but apparently it's the Protoss one. And it's going to play Arakama, but let's see and find out how it's going to be done. So Egbert's still working hard, and Javier is its author, and well, let's see how it will play out. We've got a quick match, handful of Zerglings, and 1 Zealot. So now 2 Zealots, so the Zealots, oh, but the Zealots is just running, the Zealots are just running. That's not good at all. With 2 Zealots you ought to fight. And work to be done, looks like. Okay, so let's get into the next game, which is Kaonbot versus Megrave Zerg. And this, again, was a recommendation. And let's see how it's going to unfold. Kaonbot, not known for its special tactics, or well, the tactics are special as in the Olympics, but not the most refined play. While Megrave Zerg, it's good to have a Megrave bot on the ladder. Like, love to have the Protoss back, but well, you can't always get what you want. And Megrave opening with a lot of Zerglings. And Kaonbot has got the right number of Marines to deal with that. 1 barracks, ought to build another one pretty quickly, but is quite quick with, oh dear, this Marine buying a lot of time for the stay-at-home Marines. So, very quick expansion, and Megrave, meanwhile, building a very quick lair. And that will either mean lurkers or muters if the build is any good. All these Zerglings, they just can't touch it. That's really wicked, and now they are ignoring... Oh god, what the hell? Kaonbot is taking all the bases, got 2 more hatches up, and Marines, yeah, the Marines are going to suffer, I can tell you that. Dear. Another Marine dead, and there is still only 1 barracks. The second barracks will just have to be finished. But these Zerglings aren't the most efficient at this time, and they completely run by this base, because at this time you would never expect there to be a base over here. Natural up and running, so worker-wise, Kaonbot doubling the rave at the moment. 2 barracks up, that's good. A little bit, no, not even a supply block. So Marine production about to commence, and these 2 command centers broke. So the production tab looks like a lot of SCVs, 2 more command centers. What the? One over here, and where's the other one? I can't see it. Surely, oh, here, over here, the Mineral. So. Meanwhile, lots of Marines. We've got 2 barracks now, and we could do with a couple of more barracks, because if you've got 50 workers, that must be more than enough to keep 2 barracks going. And Megrave has got 2 sunken, has got the odd neuter, but is going to find itself in a bit of a quandary. Oh, and the SCVs don't even defend themselves, so there are a lot of them going to be killed by these 2 Zerglings. 2 Marines coming up to clear the base, and the Zerglings head out. I strange as it is, it doesn't really slow Kaonbot down at all. There are just so many more command centers. This one's operational, this one just got finished, and another one started over here at the right top. So Muters over there, but Marines are everywhere, and that sort of surprises me because there aren't all that. Oh, never mind, there are all that many barracks. And are there any upgrades? And I don't think that Kaonbot has harvested one barrel of gas this entire game. The Mute is now doing some serious damage, but just way too many Marines. And more Marines are being rocked up the front, dying left, right, and center. And this base might maybe just be lost, but the Marines are going to come in from everywhere. Are there barracks at this place? No, they're just over here. But how many have we got? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 barracks. So that's quite a bit of army being produced. The Muters, however, are going to do pretty well. No upgrades at all for Terran, no Zergling speed for Zerg. This base is taking a lot of fire, but occasionally a Muter dies, and that's pretty good news for Terran. Terran just needs this. How many works do you need, really? Could do with a lot more barracks, because the production tab is just looking like a lot of SCVs with a handful of, well, 7 at a time. Oh, and an academy, so that's good. Will we have gas then too? Where is the academy? It should be over here. Lots of Marines being built, and the command center taking a lot of damage. And all the bases are being taken for what reason I cannot know, but that must be some really wacky shit. Oh, and here comes another barracks, I hope. Because right now Kaonbot's got all the economies wanted, stacking money like a madman. And the Zerglings and the Muters are tearing down so many Marines, but they are getting pretty low. So eventually the Marines, which will be coming in for time, will be able to kill a couple of Muters. The Muters are so very low. There are a couple of health Muters still, but all in all, and now if this Muter cloud gets too big, the regenerative capacity of the cloud will be big enough that the Marines won't really matter anymore. But that is... yeah, we've got a thingy, a refinery, so there is gas. And will we have upgrades too? Doesn't look like it, but we've got another barracks, and more barracks are being built all over the place, as you can see, and more Marines. So more Marines coming up, and McRave Zerg hasn't really got the prowess of the Protoss one. Building a couple of hatches, got a lot of money, can't really spend it at this moment, hasn't got a third. But is really boggled by the style that Kaonbot is playing at the moment, and still no upgrades. So lots of gas for Kaonbot. Production tab must be pretty cute. With this so many SCVs, we've got 90 or 80 workers already because one base just got gutted, and this base is under attack as well. But the Marine count right now is sheer madness. There are about 20 being built at any given moment, and McRave is throwing down samples where he may, but I fear it's going to be all going downhill from here. A couple of lurkers might have been good, but as it is, even though the Marines are suffering atrociously, the Zerg defenses are taking damage. The Muter count is severely depressed. The Zerg has only got 18 army left, and here come so many more Marines. The Zerglings don't have got shit on them. And oh dear, there's a Zerg base up over here, and well, could build a couple of workers. But now Kaonbot is just going to with the medics, that's good. And Stim is about to be done, so this army will be incredibly potent. With all these and still making workers, why the hell would you need so many workers? But I think with Stim and the medics, Terran is going to be right out of control, especially considering you've got 70, 80 army supply versus only about 5, and McRave, well, has only got 11 workers, so that's not really coming, the workers coming off the line. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. And Kaonbot is maxed on 101 Marines, and still building barracks and turrets and a comsat. So, I don't know, the Marines are probably going to take a while to find this base and kill it. I really want to know how many barracks there will be before the game's over, because these Marines have got things well under control, and McRave building another, rebuilding the lair. But there are so many barracks. this map is awash in barracks, and I think I haven't got a barracks counter, but there must be, well, 10, 20, 30, 50 barracks right now. And oh god, a lot of more barracks over here. And well, this base is not found. The army, oh, the army is turning around now. I don't know where they're headed. But the barracks building continues undiminished, and KLMod's got a devil of a job with 100 SCVs mining to keep the money down, but building barracks apparently is working. So barracks here, barracks there, barracks bloody everywhere, and this main gets built completely full, and the creep isn't even gone, or there is barracks in the old main as well. But now the Marines are rocking up to this base, so we're never going to see KLMod run out of map space to build barracks in, because this poor hapless hatchery is going to die sooner. And that's a damn shame, because I really wanted to have seen how many barracks KLMod would have built in the end. So thank you for this recommendation, that's pretty cute. Oh, and here we go. Now we have got the real Egbert, which I wanted to show. And there you go. It's Egbert. Yeah, sorry, I had to fiddle about a bit, but here it is. Egbert versus Brian Weber, and of course both of them got an upgrade. Then it's always good to see a Zerg being updated, and there are so many cool things you can do with the Zerg, so... Well, same can be said for Protoss and Terran, but I'm a Zerg fan, so that's full bias declared, I believe. Now, Egbert going for a couple of barracks and a bunker, which is good. But in view of the new run by bots like Iron and Locutus, it would, in my humble opinion, be much better to build a depot or a barracks and a bunker simultaneously over here to block it off, and then you've got access to your main base as well. So a couple of Zerglings for Weber. Weber with the quick expansion and the wild CV chase, and that is going to be a sunken and a wacky position and a very quick lair. So here come the Zerglings, and the Zerglings are going to come in for some blood, but all the blood they find is mostly their own, but these medics... Ooh, that's pretty wacky. And Egbert has got on one base a couple of medics, a couple of marines, and stim done. And at that point, as a Zerg, you've got to expand, go eco-heavy, because if you've got this clump of marines as well microed, it will breeze through any Zerglings you can throw at it and roll up the enemy base. So worker count for Weber is really, really low. And this is going to be... I don't know what's it going to be. This is pretty weird. Natural, or next base rather, up and running, or started for Egbert. The spire is done. A couple of workers have been built, that's good. But you can see if this army is going to move out, Zerg won't have a snowball's chance in hell to stop it. And there are 2 mutas now, so let's see how that's going to fare. With only 2 mutas versus a lot of army supply in Marines, and the mutas just leading the charge and taking a lot of damage, not good. Egbert has had enough, is going to drop the hammer, and there were no sunkens on the part of Brian Weber. One must only conclude that this build order needs a little bit of touching up, and yeah. That is all she wrote, because this marine thing with the stim, and have they got the range and the +1, pretty deadly, and Egbert taking the game. So Pineapple and Toothpick Cactus both got an upgrade, and I thought, well, let's pit them one against the other and see what happens. Or at least I took the replay of that having happened. The game was there already, so Zerg starting with the hatch first at about 10 drones, whatever, doesn't really... and then you see only then the hatch has started. Bunker for Toothpick Cactus in a peculiar position, but still okay, and I really believe that walling and run-bys are going to be the next big thing. After that, probably will be drops or something, because you've got then to circumvent the walling. And if you've got a good walling strategy, you can also apply it in the middle of the map, so you can build a couple of buildings over here and just make a big cauldron of this rampart, and then rampart, I should say, not rampart, and do a lot of damage over there as well. So worker count for Cactus really low, for Pineapple Cactus really low, and Toothpick Cactus is going to capitalize on that with just a couple of Marines running in, killing stuff, and it should be clear. Oh, this is a two-hatch Muta versus pure Marines, but Marines are running, so with 4-5 Muta should be okay. Now the medic's rolling up, got Stim, that's good. Fighting in tandem with the Zerglings, that's pretty well done. And you're not going to build a something like this. But Pineapple just brought that back from the dead, and now throwing away a couple of lings, but not before killing one medic, and that's good. Muta Cloud, meanwhile, is, well, respectable. We've got one creep, should be made a sunken, and still fighting with Zerglings and Mutas. I always like to see that because they are just much more potent together. And only when they reach the command center, the Marines fight and they totally kill all the Mutas. But Pineapple is taking more bases, and the army of Toothpick is rather limited at this moment. Where is it at all? I wonder. Oh, here is a couple of Marines, and in the bunker must be some couple of turrets, so should tone that down a notch because it's really rather loud, at least to my ears. And Toothpick taking another base. So macro-wise, both bots in a very good shape, I'd say. Worker-wise, Pineapple Cactus is suffering a little bit, but I've got the impression that drones are being made and not much else, so that's good. Got a bit of an army, that's always good, never forget the army. Toothpick Cactus has got the bigger army and is moving out right now. You've got the range, you've got the medic energy for reasons, and you've got the stim. Now comes siege mode, and if these lurkers don't get done in time, the Terran army is more than double the size of the Zerg army. Oh, and how about starting the fight with by throwing away one medic? Now the sunken gets made, and this will be a very tricky defense for Zerg. There is going to be another sunken, and these bases are operational, but you are going to need forces, and pretty damn quick. And there is going to be one lurker. Is there a comsat? Yes, there is a comsat. And is there another one? Yes, there is two. So one lurker is not going to stem the tide, 3 just might. And Toothpick isn't really assessing the situation correctly. That is a good position for a lurker, and that too, but you need some supporting units, 2 lurkers at the bridges, and you'd probably be able to stop a lot of Marines, but they should keep their bloody heads down. And with a couple of Zerglings leading the front, I like how Pineapple is fighting with units in tandem, just not let either the Mutas or the lurkers sort it out by themselves. But then you've got to keep your lurkers down, because if you keep running them away like, well, back and forth like this, is not going to work at all. And the worker count is now good enough, so could we please have some army and a little bit more than that, because Terran is producing 4 times the army value that Zerg is at this moment, and I wonder why that is. Now with 2 lurkers, they are going to burrow and burrow. I don't like it at all. And I know it's very hard to play lurker, but you've just got to keep them down. See how many units you've got, and oh, and right in this instance, Toothpick is totally ignoring. No, it's not ignoring, but hasn't got scans and is going to move in regardless. And these lurkers, they don't notice it, they just stay, or they don't stay burrowed, they're just going to bugger off and burrow over here for reasons best known to themselves. Toothpick going to take more bases, that's good. Science facility will allow it to make more upgrades. Nice number of barracks, nice number of SCVs, and lots of sunken, so that's not really a game plan, is it? Meanwhile, Pineapple making a lot of units, but not as many as were needed. You can see it over here, there is so much rubbish going on, and there is just no army at all. It's 10 versus 60. And yes, there is one lurker, but right now there are so many comsats on the map, there are 4, that's just not going to work, and only now comes the army production, and I think that is good with the lurker together with the sunkens. It's so much more potent, but then again, you ought to friendly fire. No friendly fire. Terran has got the war machine rolling, and that means lots and lots of production, and this is just not a composition you can do anything with. It's Mutas, Zerglings, Hybris, really unclear in the concept, more bases being taken, watch being kept on the expansions, the possible expansions of Terran, but Terran is going to kill this base over here. There is nothing in the Zerg arsenal that can contest it at this moment. There is going to be the Defiler Mine, but there is just no army at all. It's 6, and most of that is still in eggs, so every unit gets killed immediately the second it hatches. The Terran Death Ball is rolling and is sweeping everything in its path. Just going for the outer expansions, and Terran taking another base. You can see science vessels, you can see upgrades. Well, there is Defiler Tech and Consume, but there is still no army. It's 100 versus 10 versus 5. And yeah, you can have all the Sunkens you want, but it's just not going to work, even though the entire army is going off to kill this one base over here. Long term might be a good decision, but I could have just ended the game right then and there with all these forces in the natural choke. A couple of Sunkens will be rebuilt, but it won't really matter, and I think that Toothpick Cactus is pretty much stronger than Pineapple. In that regard, it's hard to play Zerg because you've also got to manage the amount of workers and army you've got. Toothpick Cactus looking good, might be a little bit more predictive with building depots, because now it's supply blocked, and now again, because it only builds one depot at the time. And what's it building next? More stuff. So that's the GG. Next game up, and I've got to do this carefully. What have we got more? I've got one game for you. It's Banana versus Crazio. And well, Banana's been updated as well, so that's good. And Banana's a pretty good bot, so that will be the next charge for Crazio. It's also going after Crazio, and of course Crazio's been on top for so long, no wonder everyone's been going after it. And I can only hope its author Krasimir will respond with a solution to these run-bys and proxies, because right now Locutus is more than 150 ELO points ahead, and that's quite a lot. So Crazio going for the quick bunker and a couple of tanks, and you can see that Banana Brain's pretty slow, but I think it's going, yes, there it is, going for a Citadel of Adun and some gateway units, and this must be the Templar Archive. So again, we'll see this push with the gateway units backed up by a couple of Dark Templars. Funny thing is that Crazio will have turrets. So there is one turret, but Banana Brain taking a third immediately. Will there be Dark Templars? Not yet. There will be High Templars, there will be shuttles, a third base. Oh, and there are some. Well, there is one Dark Templar already, so that's cool. Crazio with the 2 comsats should be in a good position. Could take a third as well, because Banana Brain is just too passive, and army-wise these players are equal, and that means with the much higher combat value of the Terran forces, yeah, that's could have told you that. But at least they'll catch floating eBay, and the eBay is going to go down. Yes, there it is. Goons coming back for a second round and taking a 4th base. So 3rd base up, 4th base taken. Crazio no 3rd base yet. And Crazio playing rather defensive, and that's, well, it's good to see, because once the tank count gets too big, there is just no stopping it with these gateway units. One tank a little bit too far ahead. Oh, these goons though took a lot of damage, but with 4 bases up, I think Banana Brain is in a good position and should just find a way to do damage to Crazio, because Crazio is still on 2 bases. And now soon to be 3. Is that going to be a cannon? Yes, it is, and that's so easy, because the odd 1-2 vulture run-bys get cut short completely by these cannons. And although Banana Brain's diverting its entire army, it is on top of the harassment. So for the time being, Crazio ahead in army supply, and the combat value is humongous. Lots of upgrades for both players, lots of tech upgrades for Protoss you don't normally see, like Kaidoran Tablet, the Templar energy upgrade. It's good, and let's see how good Templar use is, because here comes Crazio. And the army for Protoss, I must say, is pretty small. It's only 50 versus nearly 100 from Crazio. Crazio mopping up the advanced guard. The first 2 tanks, one gets Matrix, supporting units doing their utmost, and the army for Banana Brain is plummeting precipitously. The army count, lots of cannons being built, but that's not going to help you. Crazio rocking up to this base and to the main as well, and these Templars, they ought to fight together with the normal forces. They are not doing so, so that means a lot more damage potential for Crazio, and a lone Templar is a very, very fragile thing. So Crazio not taking any lip from Banana, just going to roll it over with a lot of tanks, and yeah, that's pretty much that. So I'm nearing the end of the broadcast. You can see an Arbiter, that's good, but there is no army. There's never been any army. The max army was 50, and that's not good enough versus a Terran of the caliber of Crazio. And Crazio is just going to slowly take the entire map, or I haven't been paying attention, but has taken the entire map, lots of mines. And we can only wait for the Crazio update with the war to stop, try and stop Locutus in its tracks. So, going to call the GG. And then I've got to show you 2 things. God, no, I just need to show you this game. It's Antigua playing Locutus, and that's pretty cool. Because Locutus is the #1 bot. It's not as strong versus humans, I think, as Crazio is, because once you start making a wall, you should be okay. But this is going to be a Forge Fast Expand from Locutus. And Zerg is going to build a lot of workers and another hatchery, and that's always good. And this is going to be a 3rd base, so not the usual Zerg play you see from AIs, but then again, it's a human. And Antigua, nearly 200 APM, which is pretty good. And dropping to 100 or below 100 from time to time, but it's got the speed. And Locutus not really spamming APM at this moment, but being rather passive, and that is okay. But Antigua's got the worker lead at this moment, and that is a situation which you'd normally like to avoid. The minerals have been mined out, 3 bases mining versus 2 of, oh dear, no, it's not blocked, it's got an exit over here. And now you can see that Locutus is moving out, and what is Antigua going to do? Antigua is going to throw up a couple of Sunkens really rather quickly and making a lot of Hydras. Are there upgrades? There are 2 Hydra dens, so you could push a simultaneous upgrade. Exactly that is happening right now. But the Sunkens are pretty late. And with a couple of Zerglings... Ooh, Antigua's just holding this, but there is more to come. And the Hydras get cut down before they reach the defensive perimeter. And Locutus is going to do its deadly micro with the goons, and you can see these Hydras just being absorbed and not enough Sunkens being rebuilt. So Locutus is going to do a lot of damage in these parts. The Zerg upgrades are done, but these goons with their micro are just too very, very deadly. And now you see Locutus with the APM advantage taking a 3rd base while all this is happening. And the Hydra count for Antigua is okay. But the Goon Micro is just too good, and while it costs Antigua a lot of APM and effort to maintain the fight versus the Goons, Locutus is just taking a 4th base. So 3rd base up, worker transfer will just exit the base before... Oh, and Antigua mopping up, that's so very good. So lots of hatches, that's always good to see. Upgrade wise, both players okay. The problem is that Locutus has got this wild APM advantage and is taking all kinds of bases and still microing with about 3k APM, and as a human player that's very hard to beat. Now you can see Antigua with a lot of Hydras. Have the Hydras got any upgrades? Well, they've nearly got the +1 weapons, but really ought to have more because Protoss has got the +1 weapons already. And, well, of course the range. Ooh, and that was a landslide victory for Zerg. Locutus with the goons surrounded, threw a lot of them away. And I don't think that, even with this production tab, it's really manageable to hold this. Now the Hybris are at the gates, Hybris just streaming up, and there are just not enough goons, so the Hybris taking a lot of damage from the cannons, from the goons, but doing a lot of damage in return. And you can see that although Locutus has got a huge worker lead, Antigua's got quite a bit of production as well, and it's streaming in Hybris from all over the map. And with a couple of zealots, this might have been much better, but now the Hybris will have to flee, and the worker disparity is huge at this point. The forge has not been shut down, so this armor upgrade will still be possible. And Antigua really needs a fourth base. The main is not getting low. Problem is that Locutus has got all these bases and they are fortified. Now the tech is rolling up, and Locutus is just going to keep throwing that 10k APM at it, and with about double the economy, it's going to be very hard for Antigua to come and fight this. Goons get mobbed at left, right and center. That's good though, but a lot of Hybris are paying the price, and Locutus just doesn't care. Locutus has got a lot of production, and unit for unit, I think that these goons are a little bit better than the Hybris. So now Antigua trying his hand at this base, but finding there two cannons, and of course the main army is coming in as well. Locutus has, well, this is keeping up with the army supply, and now is rolling ahead because, well, you've got this huge eco lead, and Antigua is picking the smarter fights, but versus these well-microed goons, it's very hard to get anything done with the Hybris. These mutas, well, they are going to be thrown into the fight, but it's very hard to fight cost efficiently versus a pure goon army with Hybris and mutas. And main base still got juice left in it. And once this base is up with a couple of cannons, I'd say that Antigua has got a huge problem, and now Locutus is going to hit this base over here. Antigua is going to respond, but will it be quick enough? Locutus is doing so much damage, and the army is just not there for Antigua. Antigua, where are your Hybris? The Hybris are there, but there is another pincer movement, and that was the game. Antigua leaves the game, Locutus just beat it with 20k APM, and we'll have to take another look. So, no, that's versus Locutus again, and again. A Zerg, what was this one? I need to do one more, a Zerg. It's all going to be a Zerg. And a Terran. So let's have, this will be the last game, because otherwise I can't get it uploaded in time. Last game of tonight, it's going to be Antigua, the human player, versus Locutus, the Protoss monster AI, which has got a 150 point lead on the number 2, which is Crazio, which is absolutely gobsmacking. So Antigua going for a very, very quick natural, and Locutus going for, it looks like, some kind of ranged goon thing. So all good and well, we've got one goon, and you can see Antigua not making a tight wall, but making it so that in order to pass you'd have to move all right round the back, and then there'd be a lot of carnage. Now Locutus is going to throw away a couple of goons, which is not good at all, and meanwhile Antigua behind this is powering immensely. Will we have siege tank? Yes, we will have it. Siege tank on the high ground with the bunker. Locutus in a world of pain, but with a third base starter is not in too bad a shape. This pylon over here is getting killed. I don't know what the plan with that was, but Antigua has now got 2 tanks on the high ground, and Locutus just can't get in. We've got this tank over here, we've got this one bunker. Antigua is as happy and safe as a clam in a shell, but with 3 bases up, Locutus is going to get into its macro mode, and you've really got to try and stop that, because, well, this base you could take relatively safely, but as a Terran, it's, oh well, that's a quick, that's a good move, I think. Locutus, once it gets 4-5, oh, here it goes, look at it go, and although Antigua is playing this game beautifully, Locutus double the army size, and how is Antigua going to get out of the base? Another wall, unfortunately also walling out its worker transfer. That's a bit of an interesting situation. I can no longer say it to a player, because Antigua, of course, should be a human. Can't say it to a human. And although Wow, Antigua's playing tower defense, just with a tight wall and lots of tanks on the high ground. But here comes Lecudus, and Lecudus is heading straight back. Did a little bit of damage, but just couldn't make it all the way in there. And now Lecudus, what are you going to do? Because, oh, build lots of gateways and lots of units, I think that's the plan. Build some upgrades. Antigua will have its work cut out for it, because although there are a lot of tanks and Antigua is killing stuff left, right and center, there is just so much Terran stuff. It's really out of this world. And Lecudus just seems unable to make up its mind. This is not tight, or is it? Because of this doodah. And it just can't deal with the high ground, and these tanks are doing so much damage. It's really cruel, but that is exploiting an AI for all it's worth. And Antigua appears to be prone to take this base over here. It's got a command center floating it over now, and Lecudus just can't deal with the high ground and the walls. So many units lost. This is how you still beat the top 1 AI. Can't deal with the high ground, and although it's throwing 10k APM at a large army, Antigua is going to lose this base. Looks like the command center is still up, but the science vessel dies. And now can Antigua? Antigua is throwing up another line of defense over here, but lost the base, and that is going to be pretty costly. Here comes another zealot for the refinery, but they're going to be killed. But it's going to burn down if it doesn't get repaired. So okay, Antigua really trying to play some tower defense, and is just going to butcher the hell out of this Protoss army. Should repair this depot though, because if Antigua doesn't, it will be possible for Lecudus to break in there. And Lecudus is going for another push. Oh, and just in the nick of time, Antigua repairs the depot. And still Lecudus throwing away so much stuff at the high ground again and again. And this base gets saved again. And now Antigua's on the march. And Lecudus is getting starved because these bases are all empty. This base is pretty low, the main is empty, and Antigua has got so many tanks. So that was the game, and I hope that it has been a little bit insightful to show you the weakness of these AIs versus human, because they are still pretty vulnerable to exploitation of a relatively simple mechanic like high ground and impassable barriers. So yeah, thank you everyone who has recommended the game. I hope to be back again next week. For now, thanks for watching and good night.